I'm here with my very good friend and fellow coach, Mike Goldstein today. We're doing a live stream on 10 ways to not get over invested in a man too quickly, especially when you really like him in those early stages of dating. Welcome, Mike. Thank you so much for being here.
Thanks for having me.
We're really excited for this topic. We're streaming this episode live on YouTube today. So say hi in the chat. I see Earth Besties joining. Let us know where you're listening from. And if you have any tips to not get overly invested too soon when you really like someone, we'd love to hear from you. Is there anything you want to say before we get started, Mike, or do you want to just jump into that first one?
Let's jump in. I'm ready.
Okay, awesome. This isn't going to be like a typical interview. We're going to share this content together because we work together, we coach clients together, and so we came up with the content for this together. So you'll get to hear the male and female perspective, which I know everybody loves. So let's dive in, Mike. What is that first way to not get too invested too quickly when you really like a guy?
Yeah, so I want everyone to think like a dating coach. So when we're working with clients, a man doesn't really hit my radar until date 6. And so obviously this metric is going to be different for every person and every situation. So of course it's better to be working with a coach so you can really fine tune it. But if you're trying to do this by yourself, like even if you're feeling amazing after date 3 or date 4, remember, we need to see him being consistent, texting you, calling you, showing up to dates to prove that he's a viable contender. So no matter how great it feels, which I think we've all been there, where it feels amazing and then all of a sudden they ghost and you don't see them, wait until they show up for 6 dates.
That is such great advice. I know I hear from so many women in my community. I know you probably hear this as well, who are so attached to this guy. They've been talking to him for weeks or months. And I say, how many dates have you been on? And they'll say 1 or 2 or less than 3. And anyone can show up great and do the performative aspects on a date. But what is that man doing in between dates? That's the important thing to look for. Is he following up, or is he just a text buddy and he'll hit you up once a month when he wants to hook up? These are really important things to become aware of. So I think this is so important. Great advice. And is there anything else you want to say on this one? Are we ready for number 2?
No, I mean, you jumped almost right into number 2. So tell us about that one.
Okay, great. Yeah. So number 2 is, like I just said, don't spend weeks or months or longer, certainly, messaging a guy or texting him or chatting on the phone for hours and hours and hours, especially if you've never met in person or if you haven't been on that many dates. I would love to get your opinion on this, Mike, as a man, but in my experience, just working with so many women over the last 10 years, women can get very attached and attach a lot of meaning and get invested and connected through a guy through messaging. When they get that good morning text on their phone every morning, it makes us feel something, right? Whereas men don't really get invested that way. It's all about what happens meeting up in person, if they feel the attraction and connection or chemistry there. That's just been what I've seen. I'd love to hear your thoughts on that one.
Yeah, it's such an inefficient use of time to just be texting with the guy.
Mm-hmm.
I can't tell you how many clients I've had or people that have reached out to me that spend a month, 2 months, 6 months texting a guy to only see him maybe once or twice, or text him for 6 months, then finally meet him. And then he just they meet, maybe have sex, and then all of a sudden he's gone. Or
right.
They see each other and he's not interested. So it's such an awful waste of time. You got to get in person. You got to get on the dates to see if there's some real connection and some chemistry.
It's so true. I hear from women all the time who say, how could he just drop me? We've been messaging for 4 months. We've been texting for 6 months. And it's just what I said. Men don't get connected that way. They can just drop you at the drop of a hat if you've never met in person, where the woman's building up every time they talk to him or hear from him. They're just creating this fantasy in their mind. So this goes right along with that first one. And speaking of getting personalized support, I forgot to mention, Mike, I know you're offering, or we're offering, actually, we opened up just a couple spots for private coaching. Is there anything you want to say about that before we get into the rest of these tips?
Yeah, I mean, we are just so excited to work with everyone. I think we're Helena offering it together. Helena and I are offering it together. We've been about 2 years, and we've had a 100% success rate, which is freaking phenomenal. I believe both of us have been coaching for about a decade now, And so since I've started coaching, I've had an 83% success rate. But once I brought Helena on, 100%, which is freaking
I know.
insane.
I'm trying to find the banner for that, and I don't have it. It's been so long. It's probably been a year since I've done a new live stream like this, but it's in the description of this episode. So if you click the title of this video, it'll open up the description. Click where it says 10 ways to not get over invested in a guy, and you'll be able to book a free call with Mike if you're interested in private coaching. I love that basically every single client, literally, that we've worked with together has gotten into a great relationship actually really quickly within the first few months, right?
Yeah, I mean, it's been unbelievable. So if you're at a point where you're feeling pretty good about life, things are together, and you're just like, I just want my person, like that's our bread and butter. We've been having a lot of clients like over 50. And so if you would like to work with us, we've had a ton of success. You know, we've had people that are overweight. We've had people over 60. Shoot, I've had someone 80 years old. There's no excuses. If you want it, like we've been having the system and having the strategy in order to deliver this for you guys.
Yeah, amazing. So that link is in there right now. I will also add it to the comment section after the replay of this post. Sorry, I didn't get a chance to put a banner. I'm very rusty on these live streams, as you can probably tell. Let's jump into number 3. We'll talk more about that offer at the end. We can get into specifics if anyone has any questions about the type of woman we work with or anything like that. So, Mike, what is the third way to not get over invested in a guy?
Yeah, this is so important. I want you to have great boundaries around the idea of having your dates only be 1.5 hours. So no marathon dates. You know, for all of you women that are in corporate and you've went to conferences, we have 1.5 hour typically presentations, and then you get a break. We need the same thing. Our capacity, our attention, our brain starts, our interactions start depleting around then. And so we want to end on a high. We want to keep him on the reel, if you will. So he's like, I want to see her more. I wish I had more time with her. These marathon dates, he goes home and he's exhausted. If you do like a 2, 3, 5 hour date, he's just like, oh my God, that was so much. Instead of leaving him exciting, wanting to get on the next date with you.
Absolutely. Yeah. Especially in those early dates, I hear from so many women who said, well, he lives far away. So he spent the night, we slept in the bed together, but nothing happened. We just cuddled. And again, when those kinds of things happen, and I know you have some great things to say about this, the woman tends to get really invested. That oxytocin kicks in anyway, even if you haven't slept with him. And so for those early dates, keeping it shorter and leaving him wanting more is always better, because if the energy is starting to die down towards the end, like Mike said, it can really, you know, that's what he remembers is how it ended, not left with this feeling of wanting to know more. Is that right?
100%.
Okay, great. Anything else you want to say on this one? Are we ready for number 4?
Give us number 4, Helena.
Okay, great. So that is watch his actions rather than getting caught up in the emotional connection or the chemistry you feel for him or what he says he's looking for. I would love to get your thoughts on this one, Mike. I know that's not in our notes, but I just came up with this right off the top of my head right now. So a lot of guys say that they're looking for a serious relationship. They love to settle down and get married one day, like on their dating profile or when you first meet them, so to speak, and you feel intense chemistry with them. You're getting wrapped up in this emotional connection because maybe that's not something you feel very often. And you're putting a lot of meaning on that rather than watching his actions. So, you know, lots of guys are going to say they're looking to get married to the right person one day. That doesn't necessarily mean that you're the person he's going to invest in and want to build a future with on the first or second date. You know, just because he said that on his profile doesn't mean you should get all caught up in the chemistry and put a lot of meaning on that. If he's not showing you with his actions that he's serious about you, you're the one he wants to build that future with, you're the one he really wants, and he's following up his words with actions. I would love to hear a man's perspective on that. That's my theory, but yeah, let me know what you think about that, Mike.
Let me quote our mutual friend, Derek, where he says, you know, Derek, he's in a relationship now, but he would always tell us like, yeah, I'm looking for my woman. I want to settle down. And that was first prize. But he's like, if I end up with second prize, which is getting laid by a pretty attractive woman, that's pretty good too. So even though a man says he's looking for something, it doesn't mean that's with you. And he may end up being perfectly happy to just sleep with you. So to this point, they need to be saying, I want a relationship. I want it with you. And then they've really got to be showing up, texting, calling, taking you on dates, doing it consistently. So everything needs to line up. But even if their actions are screaming, I want a relationship, but they do tell you, I do not want a relationship, that also means this is not the guy, because he does mean that when he says that.
Such a good point. Yes, I get questions the other way too. He's treating me like a girlfriend. He's treating me like we're exclusive and together, but he says we're just friends. He says he's not ready. Believe the worst of the two, right? Unfortunately, it's kind of a sad thing to say, but it'll save you from so much pain and heartache down the road. If he says he's not looking for a relationship, believe him. If he says he is looking for a relationship, great. Watch his actions, watch his consistent actions over time, rather than getting caught up in placing meaning on the emotional connection or the chemistry you feel with him. So important. Any more thoughts on that one? Or are you ready for number 5?
Yeah, I mean, just like a simple example, like if you look with my most recent girlfriend, she told me, I think on date 2, like, don't kiss me. And then we didn't have sex till probably date 20. And there is no way I would have went through all those paces and all that rejection if I wasn't crazy for her. So the action was, she had a boundary, which was fine, but I liked her so much, I kept showing up, kept taking her out. So that's what men will do when it's a really good connection. So you can have these boundaries, and then they're gonna keep showing up for you.
So true. We recorded a whole podcast episode together just on that. It's going to be called Projection, Delaying Physical Intimacy, and something else like that. I haven't posted it yet. That's going to be on my Master Your Magnetism podcast in a couple of weeks. Hopefully everyone's following me over there on Spotify and Apple Podcasts. That's where I'm spending all my time these days. It's been a while since I've come on here, but I was so thrilled that Mike was available. So super, super important. So are we ready for number 5?
Yeah. So number 5 is, don't be exclusive with a guy in your mind or in your heart until he has a conversation with you, so you know for sure that he's not dating anyone else and that the two of you are on the same page. What do you think about that, Helena?
Super important. I know what it feels like when you're not attracted to that many guys. Then one man comes along, you finally feel attraction and chemistry with someone. A lot of women tend to get exclusive with him in their mind and in their heart before they've even talked about it. And you don't want to just assume that you're exclusive. Obviously, we talk about that in a lot of our podcast episodes and videos. So super, super important. Is there anything else to say on that one?
Yeah, I mean, when I'm coaching these women, like, I put on my protector, like, armor.
Right.
And it's so scary if we have a client that's seeing a guy and she's really into him and he hasn't voiced anything and we're not asking him about it. So ladies, I just want you to kind of think like I think and still have that armor up just a little bit, realizing that we need some clarification to protect your heart.
So true. Again, that's where getting some personalized support, if you have a problem, investing too quickly can be so helpful. We've all been there. There's no judgment, but it can definitely be turned around. It's so much easier if you're single and starting off on the right foot rather than trying to backtrack if you've already invested too much with a guy. Of course, we can help you if you're in that situation too. But let's jump into number 6. If you haven't have anything else to say on that one, that is, don't put in more effort than the man is early on, especially, because that will cause you to overinvest prematurely. It's just human nature. We value what we work for, just like men do. Men absolutely value what they work for. So notice the pace that a guy is setting and don't get ahead of him. Again, this is where coaching or having a friend going through something similar, having some support or training wheels, so to speak, if you need it, will be really helpful. Don't start imagining, what your last name will be if the two of you get married down the road. Don't put in more effort than he is, because if you're the one doing all the driving to him, all the paying for dates, scheduling, planning everything, nudging him along because you're afraid he's going to forget about you if you don't constantly text him and remind him that you still exist, right? You're putting in effort every single time you do something like that. Your investment level is building, even if you don't think it is. And you can say, oh no, it's fine, I'm happy just to hook up with him and have a friends with benefits situation. Trust me, I hear from so many women who started out with something casual and they want more, and the man is right where he is from the beginning. So just be careful. Watch how much effort he's putting in, watch the pace he's setting, and don't jump ahead down the timeline, so to speak. Mike, what are your thoughts on that one?
I mean, it's so valuable. And this goes into the next 50 years potentially together. Men fall in love and stay in love by giving, not by receiving. So
Yes.
when he gives to you and then he receives your appreciation, your admiration, and getting it back, that's how he feels love. So not by you doing stuff. It's nice, but it's never going to make him stay in love with you.
So true. I'm just checking in with the chat. Sounds like this is resonating with everyone. Fran just says, I make so many mistakes. Yes, we've all been there. So again, no judgment, but you can absolutely turn this around. If I could do it, anybody can. So I know you can too. Having this awareness is super important, in my opinion. So Mike, we ready for number 7?
Yeah. This one I hope is obvious, but very important. Keep your life outside of him in terms of your friends, your hobbies, your relationships. Maintain that. I think what we tend to do, which we got to stop, is let's say you have your Tuesday routine where you're going to hang out with your girlfriends, and maybe it's gotten a little mundane because you've been doing it for years. And all of a sudden he's like, well, why don't we go do X on Tuesday? Do not fall into that trap. Keep your things that you have had before him still going. Once, very important, men fall in love when they are not with you. That's when they decide they're in love with you. So you need to give him that space and that time away from you so he can start thinking about how he feels about you and miss you and generate all these feelings and his own chemicals that are going to draw him towards you.
Absolutely. So important. That one is obvious, but it just cannot be overstated. We definitely wanted to include it. We ready for number 8?
Yeah, give it to us.
Okay. All right. Number 8 is train yourself to focus on what's right in front of you only. I see this a lot with women. I'm sure men can do this too. It's how do we overinvest usually? It's up here, right? It's in our mind. We're thinking about him even when he's not right in front of us. We're analyzing the text messages. We're replaying the last conversation we had or the last date we had, wondering what he's doing. I haven't heard from him. What's going on? How does he feel about me? We think that you're not investing too much because it's just in your thoughts, but you are. That's how we get over invested often as women. We're analyzing a man who's not right in front of us, especially if he's not showing you with his consistent actions over time that he's serious about you. Now, of course, once you're living with a guy, married to a guy, it's not, I mean, you're going to be thinking about him even when he's not right in front of you. But this is really helpful on those early dates. If a guy is not right in front of you right now or not showing up on your phone, he does not exist in your immediate world. So you want to just train your brain to go, okay, this guy's not right in front of me. I'm noticing that I'm obsessing or overanalyzing what's going on between me and him. What else is right in front of me? There's a whole bunch of other things right in front of you that you can do that will get you into your feminine energy. When we're up in our head overanalyzing or overthinking about a situation, we're in our masculine energy. And when we're in the moment, just drill down into the present moment, experiencing what's going on around you in your immediate world right now. You're in your feminine energy. If anyone's had the experience of that minute you forget about a guy and take your focus off of him, that's when he calls. That's when you get a text from him. It feels like magic, but it's not. It's the way it works. It's the pathway between the two of you. It's free of all this resistance. But as it relates to this topic today, you're going to overinvest in him if you're constantly thinking about him, if he's not right in front of you and showing up consistently. So anything you want to say on that one, Mike?
I think that was perfect. Nailed it.
All right, perfect. So what is number 9?
Yeah. So don't break your boundaries because of strong chemistry. This is so freaking important. If you sign up with us, we actually have the most extensive boundary list I think that exists. I took a bunch from the Gottman Institute that built out this beautiful worksheet of boundaries. Then I added from my own list and then a few other dating coaches. So I think this is the largest, best list of boundaries. But what I love about this list is we build them before we have any chemicals happening. So we build out our boundaries. So this is what we are planning to do and what we accept and do not accept. And then when we meet this person, ideally they fill out what their boundaries are. And then as a team, we get together for a fun little date night and we start building, this is what we're going to do as a family, as a team. And so it's really beautiful and it's helpful and it's really intimate. Instead of just, going on a date and what's your favorite color? This is a little deeper. This is how we can run our lives together, and really it brings you closer, and it explores a lot of topics. So don't break that just because he's charming and you haven't had a charming guy in 6 months or 10 years. Does that all make sense, Helena?
Absolutely. If you're breaking your boundaries, you're going to overinvest because of number 10. So should I just go right into number 10? Because it's part of this. You don't want to trade away pieces of yourself. This is a little phrase I came up with, just to be with this one guy, right? So that looks like lowering your standards, breaking your boundaries, like Mike just explained so beautifully, or convincing yourself that something is okay with you when it's really not. Like, okay, it's fine that he's still, hanging out with his ex-girlfriend all the time, or it's fine that he's flirting with other women on social media. Because you like him so much, you end up trading that away, even though that's a boundary of yours. That's something that's really important to you. That's something that you would never tolerate or accept from another guy, a brand new guy who you didn't feel this attachment and investment in. And it causes you to overinvest. When you do that, it's like you stay in situations too long that aren't good for you. It's almost like when you invest something. I know, Mike, you're an expert in investing financially, right? When you put all your money in this one investment, and it's just kind of like you want to go down with the ship because you've invested so much. When you trade away pieces of yourself by breaking your boundaries, tolerating bad behavior, or anything that doesn't feel good to you, you're going to just want to stick it out and try and make it work because you already traded away so much of yourself and basically compromised your own values or standards. What are your thoughts on that one, Mike?
Yeah, I mean, it reminds me when I was in Scotland with my girlfriend Paige, and she was we hadn't seen each other for 5 weeks because she had to go perform in Scotland. Anyway, we get there and she immediately is kind of doing everything for me and putting all her attention on me, which of course felt great. But at some point she forgot to take care of herself. Mm. And all of a sudden she just had this massive breakdown that, I think I was driving a little too fast, and all these things compounded, and all of a sudden just breakdown. And she's looking at me with some fiery eyes, I totally messed up. And then she thought about it for a second and she's like, I'm not really mad at Mike. He's just being himself. I lost myself. And she didn't know that it was okay. And then I said to her, I'm a grown ass man. I don't need you to take care of me. I'm good. I'm going to take care of myself. What I do need is I need you to take care of you so that you're happy and we can communicate and have an amazing time and have a great relationship. So the whole next day, she just took care of herself. We took some time apart. She took care of herself. And then later that day, we got together for dinner, and it was the most magical coming back together. We talked about it. And it was great. It was we were in love. We were happy. But she needed to go back to finding stuff for herself.
Such a great example. I love that. If she hadn't had that level of self-awareness, she might have just continued to do that. I know us people pleasers, if anyone watching is anything like me, we can tend to want to just make sure everyone else is happy at the expense of ourselves. Often we're just not even aware of it sometimes. So that's a great story. Thank you so much, Mike. Is there anything else you want to say on this topic, or you want to get to some comments?
Yeah. Let's. Did you want to talk about breast cancer awareness?
Yes, absolutely. Let's do that at the end. I see some great comments in the chat. Thank you so much for reminding me. I wanted Mike to remind me of that because we're recording this live in October, which is Breast Cancer Awareness Month. So I wanted to talk about that. I know I'm sure it's touched lots of women in my community. It definitely has my own family members, some of them. So hi to everyone. You're so sweet. Yes. Oh, I definitely will. Everett just had his first birthday a couple of weeks ago. So yeah, it's been crazy over here, but so amazing. Fortune says serial texters are a no-no. They're not into commitment. They want their options 24/7. Don't fall for it. Yes, absolutely. So Tina says, I'd really love to work with you. This is taking a second. It's just, there's a little delay on this end. I'd love to work with you. I wonder if I'm ready. I'll try to contact you, Mike. Yeah. Anything else you want to say about our coaching program? We would love to work with you, Tina. Anything about who we work for, what our availability is? Because we didn't talk too much about that at the beginning.
Yeah, I mean, I would encourage people to sign up if they're not sure. And, there's a form to fill everything out. And there's also more on the form about what we're looking for. But ultimately, we want people that have done a little bit of self-work, and their life's together. They've got a good job, they've got a good family, friends, and they're just like, man, I can't seem to get a partner. I think, frankly, our clients are freaking catches. Like they always have, like we have a ton of, you don't have to be this, but they happen to be a lot of women that have like Ivy League education or similar, like high level education, big job. But like, frankly, it's hard to find a person on their level. And that's, at least on the strategy side, that's what I'm really good at. Like using a funnel and using a lot of numbers and getting us to that guy that actually matches. So we're not settling. I mean, the only way we're successful is we find people that are high caliber. That's not a settle. We have 0 divorces. Like you're not hiring us to get like a decent guy. I'm talking about the creme de la creme. That's what we're here for. A super white glove, high level of service where we do the work with you. That's what we're interested in doing. We don't work with a lot of people. We work with a few. So our attention is like on you and we're going to get a result. Did that answer the question?
Absolutely. Hopefully, Tina, let us know. And the first link in the description, I'm going to add it to the comment section too, is the link to book a free call with Mike. And sorry about this. Is just there's a little delay happening here. Mike, everything okay on your end? Can you still hear me?
Yep, hear you.
Okay, perfect. Yeah, and I also included a link to a testimonial from a woman, amazing woman, our first client that we worked with together years ago in her 60s, who met a great guy. So it will definitely give you hope and give you some insights into how our coaching works. And I think that's all Lizette said, are these people single or married? We typically work with single people who are open to dating and online dating. If you are married or in a relationship, feel free to email me if you'd like a referral to a coach, or we could see if we could help you out. HelenaHartCoaching@gmail.com. I'd love to see what I could do for you. Let's see. Great topic. Love you both. Helena and Mike help me with my mindset when it comes to dating with these videos and podcasts. Keep making wonderful content. Oh my gosh, thank you so much. I'm so happy to hear that. And that is the last comment I see. Hopefully I got to everyone. There's some weird technical stuff on my end. Every time I'm looking around, I'm like looking at the chat and our notes and everything. So Breast Cancer Awareness Month. Yes, this is a global campaign to help support women in reducing their breast cancer risks. I am partnering with the company Rose Forever. I have some right here. These roses are in all of my videos. These are actually hydrangeas. And you've seen them probably in all of my videos. They're making a donation for every pink bouquet purchased throughout this month, throughout the month of October. And they're also discounting their roses. You can use the coupon code HART25, HART, my last name, 25. I think anytime you're listening to this, you can use that coupon code to get $25 off and free shipping. And so, yes, we just wanted to spread the word about Breast Cancer Awareness Month. Just such an amazing campaign. Anytime I can help raise awareness around that and help women reduce their risk, because I know it's just something that's so prevalent out there. Thank you so much, Tina and Fortune and everyone, for joining us. Mike, anything you want to say? Any last words of wisdom before we close out here today?
I would say I want ladies to have fun with dating. Don't make it a job. Don't make it stressful. I think one of the biggest things that I've been hearing lately from folks that have hired us is it's just nice to have that support and just some people that actually know what they're doing to just guide them and walk them through the process. So instead of you worrying, like, is this my guy? Should I date that one? Should I date this one? Is that right? Just kind of release and go into your feminine and be like, all right, Mike and Helena got this. All I got to do is show up and have fun and go on the dates. So we kind of help you with the decisions, and it just makes it easier and more fun. So if you want to just kind of release control and put your hands up and be like, guide me. I mean, that's kind of what we want to do. Like we love that.
Absolutely. Love working with the amazing women from my community and yours as well. Mike, you can work with both of us or one of us. I am only available on weekends right now. Typically, I forgot to mention some Fridays, but mostly weekends. If that doesn't work for you, Mike's schedule is a little more flexible, but book a call with Mike, see if we'd be a good fit. That would be awesome. So all the links are in the description, or episode details, depending on where you're listening to this. I'll also add them to the comment section on YouTube. Mike, thank you so much again, and thanks for joining us, everyone. This was great.
Thanks for having us.
Bye. See you next time.